Hello, good morning, and thank you for tuning in to today's gentle yoga flow to kind of wake up the body. And it is a hip-centered flow today. You'll need some blocks and a mat. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can always use a water bottle for a prop. Let's get to it. We're going to begin in Shavasana on our mat, lying flat on our back, allowing the legs to fall heavy. Let the feet go out nice and wide, relaxing the shins, the thighs, noticing the rise and fall of your belly as you take an inhale and as you exhale. Paying attention to your shoulders and seeing if you can roll them up and back. Relax the neck. Unclench your jaw. Unfurrow the space in between your eyebrows. And just be. There's nothing to do right now other than to just breathe a couple breaths and settle in. Settled, place your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart. We'll begin to take some deep belly breathing breaths together. On your exhale, empty out all the air in your lungs, and then take an inhale through your nose. Hold at the top for 3, 2, 1, release. And again, inhale through the nose, nice and slow, feeling your belly expand, and then your ribs, and then your chest. Hold for 3, 2, 1, release. We'll take one more inhale through the nose. Make this your biggest inhale yet, expanding through the belly, ribs, chest. Hold and sigh it out. Come back to the normal pattern of your breathing. As we wake up our bodies and our minds this morning, gently, subtly, bring your arms by your side and we'll take it through a good morning stretch. Inhale, arms reach up, toes are flexed, maybe you take a yawn, and then crunch into your right side. Walk your toes and your arms over to the right side edges of your mat for banana pose. You should be feeling a left side body stretch here. Check in with your neck. Make sure you're not tensing it. Take a few breaths. Engaging your legs. Good. Come to center. Take an inhale. And exhale over to the left. Toes are flexed. Extending through the arms. Reaching towards that edge of your mat and feeling that right side body stretch. Good. Take an inhale, come to center, bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your forearms around your shins, and begin to rock side to side, massaging your low back after having it extended and twisted. Plant your feet. Stack your right leg over your left, cactus the arms, or you can bring them out like a T, and let your legs drop towards the left. Your gaze goes to the right. Twists are an excellent way to wake up the body, helping our digestion, and our overall energy. And this is a pretty passive pose, so don't force anything here. Inhale, come to center, and we'll switch. Left leg over the right. Knees fall to the right and gaze goes to the left. Again, you can cactus out the arms or bring them out like a T. We're lengthening through our spine and external hip rotators, improving our spinal flexibility and digestion, and relieving any low back pain, spinal pain, or hip pain in this twist. Come to center. Setting up for 3 rounds of bridge. Palms are on your mat, facing the mat. Inhale, lifting the hips high, engaging the glutes. Exhale, down the mat. Inhale, bringing the glutes up. Exhale, down. And one more. Hips rise, bringing your chest towards your chin instead of your chin towards your chest. And down. Bringing the knees into the chest one last time, again to massage the low back after we just did that mini back bend so early in the morning. Plant your feet on the mat and we'll set up for hip circles. You can either have a bend in your knee or you can keep the legs straight. Going in a clockwise direction about 4 or 5 times and then reversing that. If you have your legs straight, make sure to flex and point your toes and be nice and slow and controlled. If your knee is bent, you can place your palm on your knee. Also make sure you're engaging your thigh and keeping it nice, slow, and controlled. Make sure to engage your abdominals to protect your spine and your low back. Whenever you're done with one side, move it on over to the other. We are strengthening our hip flexors and our leg muscles. We're also strengthening our glutes and our core, and this is going to improve our pelvic stability. A few more in the opposite direction. Bend into your knee, plant your foot on your mat, and then begin to open your knees out wide like a book. Your soles of the feet come together, coming into bound angle pose, reclined bound angle pose. If this is a little uncomfortable for you, you can always support the knees by putting blocks under them. Again, a very passive pose just to open up the hips. On your next exhale, see if you can melt your muscles or any lower body tension into the mat beneath you. Begin to close the knees together. Pick a side of your choosing, coming into fetal position. Taking a few breaths here and then pushing yourself up and meeting me in tabletop. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Hands are shoulder width apart. Knees are hip distance. Drop your belly, gaze lifts, tailbone lifts, coming into cow. And on an exhale, chin to chest, round through the spine, cat pose. Inhale, cow, tailbone nice and high. Exhale, cat pose. Head and tailbone go to the floor. A couple more through your own natural pattern of your breath. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. Feel free to move the body, maybe bouncing the hips from one heel to the other, drawing figure eights. If you're watching this video, chances are you're not in a studio, so feel free to get fun with it. Beginning to steady our table. Crunch your right knee into your chest, bringing your right foot next to your right thumb, coming into a low lunge. Pushing the hips forward, placing the hands on the knees. If you have blocks, you can grab them now. We move into half splits pose, straightening into our right leg, flexing the toes towards our face, keeping the hips as neutral as we can, and then we're going to create a flow going back and forth to a low lunge, maybe arms overhead, and exhale, take it back to half splits pose. Again, evening out the hips as much as you can. Inhale, coming up to low lunge, pushing the hips forward, hands come high. And exhale, half splits pose. Inhale, come up to low lunge one last time. And exhale, straightening into that right leg, flexing the foot, bending the right knee as we set up for pigeon. Walking our right foot over to the left side of our mat and dropping our knee and shin down as parallel as we can to the top of our mat. Checking behind us at our left foot to make sure that it's not at an angle and it is straight back towards the mat. You can have an active posture here or a passive by coming down onto your forearms. Maybe you place a block in between your arms and rest your head on it. Or maybe you go even deeper, taking it all the way to the floor. I like to have an active posture as much as I can to spread through my chest, open through the shoulders. You take whatever feels good for you today. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. Neutralize your hips, make sure that they're even, that you're not leaning on one side from the other. Pressing into your hands, bending into your left knee, and releasing your right leg. Press it behind you, coming into a three-legged table. Flex your foot towards your mat and then bring it out to the right, to the side, planting your foot all the way down on the ground, and then moving the hips forward and back a few times for some relief after that pigeon pose. One more, and we'll come back to our table. Awesome, switching it out and bringing it over to our left side, bending into our left knee, planting our left foot right next to our left thumb, and then coming up on our knee, pushing our hips forward, maybe grabbing our blocks for half splits pose, straightening into the left leg, flexing the toes towards the face, and inhaling into low lunge, arms go overhead. Exhale down to half splits pose. Try and link your breath with your movement here. Inhale, pushing your hips forward, feeling your hip flexor stretch, and exhale, half splits pose. One more, inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, half splits. Bending into your left knee. We'll take it pigeon on the left side, wiggle walking the left foot over to meet the right hand, and then dropping that knee and shin as parallel as you can to the top of your mat. You can take your active posture here, or you can fold forward and create a more passive pigeon experience. Make sure to look back at your right foot. Make sure that it is pointed straight and not curved at an angle. Check in with your hips. Make sure that they're nice, balanced, and neutral and not leaning on one side or the other. And just be. If emotions arise in pigeon, it's totally normal. Breathe through it, notice it, and let it go. Lift your hips, kicking your left leg straight back, flexing the foot, and then bringing it out to the side, stamping your left foot on the ground, and then beginning to rock forward and back to relieve our legs from pigeon pose. One more, nice and slow, and then we'll bring it back to our tabletop. From tabletop, bring your hands about one palm print in front of you, tuck the toes, lift the hips, hover the knees, and then push the hips up and back, straighten into the legs, coming into our first downward facing dog. Adjust, get all the wiggles out here. Maybe bend into one knee and then bend into the other. Walk your dog. Tailbone nice and high, ears by the biceps. Take an inhale and come up high on the balls of your feet and then drop them over to the right. Another side body stretch. Inhale, come to center, and exhale over to the left. Coming up to center, bending into the knees, looking forward and walking, stepping, or hopping up to the top of our mat. We will meet in a forward fold or Uttanasana. Nice gentle bend in the knees here. Feet are hip distance apart. Maybe you grab opposite elbows and sway. Relax your neck. Let the head melt heavy towards your mat. Bending into your right leg, left arm goes nice and high, and we're twisting at our abdomen, expanding through the chest, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in. Exhale down to center, and we'll switch, bending into our left knee. Our right arm goes sky high. Stacking our shoulders, our gaze is up at our right hand. Take an inhale, wiggle the fingers, and exhale, come down, meeting in Uttanasana, forward fold. Tailbone sky high. Inhale, flat back. Palms come to the shins for halfway lift, and exhale it down back to a forward fold. Place your hands on your hips and come up with a flat back or mountain Tadasana pose. Engaging your thighs and your abdomen, palms face forward, roll your shoulders up and back, slight tuck of the chin. Taking it through 3 rounds of sun salutations. Inhale, arms come up, palms touch. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend into the knees if you need it. Forward fold. Head goes heavy. Relax the neck. Inhale, palms come to the shins, flat back. And then plant your palms, bend into the knees, coming into a tabletop position. Bending into the elbows, coming into cobra, sliding the chest and belly forward, pushing into the hands slightly. Toes are flexed. Exhaling it back to tabletop, tuck the toes, and hips up high and back, downward facing dog. And then we'll walk it back up. Inhale, palms come to the shins, and exhale. Uttanasana, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. Inhale all the way up, palms touch. Exhale through heart center. Arms by your side, mountain Tadasana. 2 more rounds. Inhale, swing the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, bring it down. Tailbone high, head heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. This time we're stepping it back to plank. If you need to step it back to tabletop, feel free to do that. Keeping the elbows close to your ribs, bending into your elbows, and lowering down to chaturanga and inhaling up to upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling back to downward facing dog. Take one long inhale and walk your feet up to meet in a halfway lift. In that same breath, halfway lift, flat back, exhale, plant the hands. Reverse swan dive all the way up, palms kiss. Bring it through heart center, mountain Tadasana pose. One more. This time we're going to link sun salutations with our breath. 1 breath per movement. Inhale, swing all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend into the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank. On that same exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Walking it up, coming into a half lift. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. You guessed it, palms touch. Come through heart center. And we did it. Arms by your side, mountain Tadasana. Inhale through your nose. And exhale, open mouth, sigh it out. Releasing all that heat we just built up. Pivot to the right, facing long ways on your mat. Bend into your right knee and take a big step to the right, setting up for wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, swing the arms all the way up. Hinge at the hips, bend in the knees if you need to. Come down with a straight back as much as you can, coming into that wide-legged forward fold. Grabbing opposite elbows, beginning to sway left to right. See if you can shift the weight into the balls of your feet. And then do whatever feels good here. I like to take some twists in my wide-legged forward fold. I love twists, if you can't tell. Maybe grabbing one ankle, twisting one way, and going the opposite direction. If inversion is in your practice, go for it. Next, coming into Skandasana, bending into our left leg, right leg goes long, flexing the toes. I love this stretch. Pushing into your right foot, come back up to a wide-legged forward fold, and then we'll begin to bend our right knee, left leg goes long. We are opening our hip flexors, which can lead to a relief of back pain or sciatica if you struggle with that. Coming up into our wide-legged fold and then bringing our toes out, heels in, bringing your feet closer together and taking it into malasana. So heels in, toes out, and then you can grab a block here and just place your sit bones right on the block. Try to extend through the spine and maybe use your elbows to push your knees to spread them further. Take a breath and try and release any tension in those legs. Shift forward and remove the block beneath you. Come back into a malasana without the block and then gently place your hips down onto the mat as we set up for boat pose. Begin seated with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, and then keeping your spine straight, lean back, lift your feet, bringing your shins parallel to the floor. You can have a bend in your knees here, or if you'd like more, you can straighten into the legs. Inhale through the nose and exhale, lay your feet down, remove the fleshy parts of your glutes, feeling your sit bones on the floor. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, bend at the hips. Straighten into the knees if you need to. Flex your feet towards your face and we'll come into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Once you're at your edge, you can take an inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, fold over. Inhale through the nose, and exhale, see if you can kick into your heels and make this stretch a little deeper. Keeping in mind, if you are already at your deepest stretch, stay there. Good. We'll come up slowly, setting up for Vakrasana, which is a nice twist. Bending into our right leg, keeping the left leg extended and flexed. You're gonna bring your left leg over the, you're gonna bring your right leg over the left and then twist towards the right, maybe hooking your left elbow onto your outside of the right knee. Inhale and lengthen through the spine, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Gaze can be at the side wall or it can be over your shoulder. Try to keep your chest nice and broad, pulling in your navel to support the back. Come to center, straighten through the right leg, and we'll go on the other side. Left leg bends, swoop that leg over the right. Left arm goes by your spine, right arm goes on the outside edge of your left knee. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhales are going to twist you deeper. I have a block because I have short arms, and that is something I've learned in yoga. This is something you will learn in yoga as well. Just listen to your body. Sometimes you need a block, sometimes you don't. It's okay. Unwind, coming to center, dropping the blocks off to the side, scooching your bum forward if you need it, setting up for 3 rounds of bridge again, planting your feet, palms are on the mat, lengthen through the spine, roll your shoulders up and back, inhale, and exhale, push your hips up, drive through the heels of your feet, and then come down. Inhale, exhale, push your hips up, engaging your glutes, engaging your belly, and exhale, come down. One more, make this your highest, deepest, and fullest expression yet in bridge. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Maybe you come up on your heels, and we are done with bridge. Come down vertebrae by vertebrae. And then maybe windshield wipe the legs, easing the low back from the back bend. Plant the feet and open your knees like a book. Soles of the feet come together, and we'll take it again for a reclined bound angle pose. See how different this feels from the first reclined bound angle we did at the beginning of class. Take a big inhale through your nose. And exhale, release, sigh it out. Let everything go. Now is the time to take any final poses. If you are an inversion person, or maybe you like plow pose, shoulder stand, happy baby, whatever calls to you to finish out your practice that maybe I didn't cue, go for that right now. Or if you'd like, you can stay in reclined bound angle and slowly shift to Shavasana. But a few more breaths here, and then we'll meet in Shavasana. Coming into Shavasana and extending the limbs long, allowing the body to feel heavy after all that movement we just did. Come back to your deepest self here. Connect to the interior as you breathe. Viktor Frankl's quote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Yoga gives us this capacity to be present to this space and to understand it is our way to a blissful life. Take a few moments here and take in everything that you've just done in your practice. Slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, coming back to the body. Maybe you take a good morning stretch, reaching your arms overhead, flexing the toes, flexing the arms. Maybe you take a yawn, and then slowly pick a side of your choosing, and we'll be in fetal. Take a breath, pushing into whatever palm. Push yourself up, keeping the eyes closed, and we'll meet in an easy Sukhasana, cross-legged seated position to close out practice. Shoulders away from the ears, slight tuck of the chin. Inhale, swing your arms up, palms touch. Exhale through heart center. As you leave this space, vow to nurture this connection to your deeper self. Return to it through your day, your week, knowing that when you come back to the deepest part of you, you're cultivating a clearer path to happiness. The light in me sees, honors, and loves the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I can't wait to practice on the mat with you again soon.